Okay, good afternoon or good morning, ladies and gentlemen, depending on when you're watching this. What we are going to go ahead and focus on today is we're going to go ahead and focus on dividing multiples of 1, 10, 100, and 1,000 using our minds or doing it mentally. So as you can see up here, we want to be able to divide those numbers mentally. So the first step we need to look at is we need to look at what a division problem actually is. So if I have the problem 12 divided by 2 equals some number. But I want to stop right there. I want you to stop here right there, and I want us to rethink setting the problem up like this. This is okay, but for now I want us to think about it another way. I want us to think about it using a division box. Now here's the easiest way to think to yourself, how do I do a division box? Let's pretend that 12 and 2 are going to a party. And take a look right here. Who gets to the party first, 12 or 2? Well, who's first in line? 12 is first in line. And let's pretend, just like it is right now, let's pretend it's really cold outside. And let's pretend that the party is in this right here, our division box sign. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put 12 inside. Now he's inside, he's nice and warm and everything like that. So 12 is taken care of. And what is going to go, who got there second? Poor Mr. 2. Poor Mr. 2. Actually, he's going to have a parent case. Poor Mr. 2 got there second, so we're going to go ahead and put a 2 outside. He's outside and he's cold. What we're going to try to figure out is who's going to be up here in the top. Somebody's there and somebody's on the top, and that's what our answer is going to be, is going to go right there. So as a reminder, 12 gets to the party first, 12 gets to go inside the party first, 2's on the outside. Sorry, 2, you got to be on the outside. So that's our first step right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to think to ourselves, okay, 12 divided by 2. Well, how do we do division? Remember, division is just backwards multiplication. Let's just say the variable is a. 12 divided by 2 equals a, and we don't know what a is going to be. What we can do is we can go ahead and flip this around. We can instead think to ourselves, okay, what is 2 times a going to be to equal 12? What do we multiply by 2 to get 12? Well, we should know by now that 2 times 6 equals 12. So our a, or our guy on the top there, is going to be 6. So that's just right there. That's a basic introduction of our division. Let's try one more again. Here we have 14 divided by 7. Remember, 14 gets there first, he's inside first, 7's on the outside. Sorry, 7. So think to yourself, 7 times a. 7 times a equals 14. So what do we multiply by 7 to get a? We should know by now that you have to multiply 7 times 2. 7 times 2 equals 14. So 14 divided by 2, or 14 divided by 7 equals 2. All right, so that's kind of a step up right there. Now, let's go ahead and jump into our I can statement here of dividing by ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. All right, so let's go ahead and start with a problem like 12 divided by 2. We should know by now that 12 divided by 2, well, that equals 6. But what happens if I do this? Instead of 12, what if I change it to 120, and I still say divided by 2? Now, ladies and gentlemen, that right there really gets us into the I can statement of dividing by multiples of 10. So here we have a multiple of 10 being 120, and we have 12. But here's what I want you to think about. What I want you to think to yourself is I don't want you to go ahead and worry about that 0 right there. I'm going to go ahead and cross that 0 out. So now I have 120 divided by 2. We know that that is 6. Now watch what we do up here. I'm going to pretend that there's a little line right there. I'm going to go ahead and make a little box. I'm just going to think to myself 12 divided by 2. And I'm going to make sure my 6 fits right up there. But then I still have the 0 then to think about. We can go ahead and bring the 0 back in and think to myself, let's go ahead and since I added a 0 down there, let's add a 0 up here. So 120 divided by 2 equals 60. Now what if I have a problem like 1,200 divided by 2? Well, I do the same thing. I think to myself, I'm not going to worry about these 2's right there. I'm only going to simply worry about my 12. Put my box right there, and I have 12 divided by 2, and I know that equals 6. That's always the first step, is figure out what you can get from here. Well, then I took 2 2's away. Let me go ahead and add 2 2's, and I get 600. Now let's look at this next one. I have 200 divided by 5. Well, that's a little bit different, because watch what happens. Well, 200 divided by 5, I can't quite do that, so I'm going to take my 2 zeros away. Now I only have 2 divided by 5. I can't do 2 divided by 5. That's impossible. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to add this 1 0 back here. So now it's no longer 2 divided by 5, but now it's 20 divided by 5. I can do 20 divided by 5. We should know 20 divided by 5 equals 4. Because remember, 4 times 5 equals 20. So now I added that 0 at 4 right there. Let's add one more 0 back there, and that equals 40. Check this out. I can do the same thing with 5 divided by 2,000 divided by 5. Let me first go ahead and take my zeros away. So now I only have 20. So now, 20 divided by 5 we know equals 4. And then I just simply want to add those zeros back in there. 1, 2, equals 400. So ladies and gentlemen, that's a good introduction to dividing by multiples of 1, 10, 100, and 1,000. Thank you so much for checking in on me, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll continue this discussion later. Bye-bye.